come on up.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, who appeared in the person of Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, the true and living God, to whom all holy praise is due now and forever. And in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet my brothers and sisters in the universal greetings of peace and of paradise. Assalamu alaikum. Once again, brother and sister, we have the pleasure to be blessed with the presence of Minister John Muhammad. It's his fourth time coming to the Atlanta area, and he's pleased to come amongst us each and every time he comes. The new brothers and sisters that are meeting him for the first time, here's a 1 second history of a man whose history would take more than 1 second. He was there in the beginning with his brother, our messenger, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he also sat under the feet of the true and living God, the great Mahdi Master Farad Muhammad. Some of the posts that he held in the Nation of Islam consist of being a minister, a captain of FOI, and mainly where he stood out the most is the principal of the First University of Islam. He has been a soldier. He doesn't like me to say this, but I have to give him the credit for over 50 years.
All right.
And so with my great pleasure, I'd like to introduce Brother Babatuni Abdullah Muhammad Shabazz from the Atlanta area to open us up with prayer. Assalamu alaikum.
If we stand and take the position of prayer, talk to us about our leader, teaching God, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praises are due to Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, sole Master of this day of judgment in which we now live. To Thee alone do we serve, and to Thee alone do we beseech for Thine aid. O Allah, guide us in the right path, the path upon those whom Thou hast bestowed favors, and not upon the path of those whom Thy wrath has brought down, nor those who go astray after they have heard Thy teachings. Say He, Allah, is one God. He, Allah, is He of whom that is all independent, but yet we all depend. He neither begets, nor is He begotten, and I bear witness there is none deserved to be served or worshipped besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom all holy praises are due forever. And I bear witness that there is no other messenger but the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, of Master Farad Muhammad. In Thy most holy name, Ameen.
Assalamu alaikum. May I keep my seat?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, to whom all praise is due, and I forever thank Allah who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad for our great leader and teacher, Messenger Elijah Muhammad, the last of all the messengers and the prophets that shall come to us, the black man and black woman in the wilderness of North America. I thank Allah for His coming, for what He has done for us. And I thank the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the messenger of Allah, for taking up a burden that he did take up, and with the words that was given to him. I thank Allah for what He has done for us, so-called American Negro. I thank Elijah Muhammad, the messenger of Allah, for taking up such a burden that he did take up in the guiding of a people that was found blind, deaf, and dumb. I thank him for leading us to the position that we are today, those that believe in him and those that did not believe in him. I still thank Allah for the leadership that he gives to us. Brothers and sisters, I am not here to try to teach you so much, because you already know. That I believe, and I trust that you who are with me here tonight will understand some things that I will say to you. But first of all, I would like to hear some of the questions that you would like to ask for a few minutes. Before I say anything, I would like to hear some of your words, some questions that you would want to hear from me. I can't answer all questions now. Remember that. Just a few of them. Although I have been in the Nation of Islam since 1931, and I have served almost in every post in the Nation of Islam. As Dr. Shabazz say that I was captain one day. I was captain one day, minister. Now this happened all at one time at 348 Hastings Street in Detroit. I was captain, minister, secretary, assistant. I was everything for one day. Now, why was you that? Because the messenger and all of the laborers had left Detroit going to see Master Farad Muhammad. Was the one that was left. And I was kind of glad that I was, because I had a chance to do my thing that day while nobody was around. And I did it. And Master, while I'm in Detroit, he said to my brother John, he says that John is knocking them cold in Detroit now. So Johns came back and told me, and at the same time I was lecturing. And Lord, if I had been here, my brother would have not died. That's Lazarus, you know. And we had a good time that day. It was beautiful that day. We had about 600 or 700 people standing in the audience. And from then on, I was left at will by the messenger, whatever that he wanted me to do. So I would like to hear some of your words. Well, we did have some words just now. I enjoyed it. Before the rest of you came in, I enjoyed what was taught. I listened. So before going any further, since the time to hear you, I don't know.
Yes, sir.
If you ask me something and I don't know it, don't say I thought he should know it. Because I can ask you a question, I would say the same thing. I think you should know it.
That's right.
In the Nation of Islam, that a person so much for not knowing a thing, that is, if he was not there when that incident happened. What we notice in the Nation of Islam about a person knowing, have to be present more than one time to know. One time you doesn't learn in the Nation of Islam what you should know all the time, because you're going to forget some of it. And you can't go out and say, well, I know this and I know that. Can't do it. I couldn't do it, and nobody else, thousands of people in Detroit, they couldn't do it. And I don't look for anybody else to do it. So now, brother and sister, you are open to ask the question if you so desire. So 3 of them went up about the same, just about the same time.
Brother right here.
But he was first? Okay, yo, I like salam, brother.
I would like to know what do you foresee?
Your name, sir?
Kabir.
Khalid?
Kabir.
Kabir.
What do you foresee as far as the nation going because of the transitioning thing that took place? What do you see? Because y'all wasn't around, back before all this, took place, the transition that happened in 75 and everything. What do you foresee as far as the nation going in a particular direction?
The Nation of Islam?
What do you foresee as far as progressing? This is what I want to know.
The progressing of the Nation of Islam can be greater than it was before, if those who have heard the teaching of Master Farad and the Messenger, it is still in your head. It can't leave there. We had a fact that I spoke on that fact one time, and I said a few words in Chicago with Minister Farrakhan. I was on air there, and I said it again in Brooklyn. I was on air there, and if you remember any of it, we got a fact that Master Farad gave us that lead will not reach the bottom of any ocean any nearer than 4,500 yards, and then it will float. That's all he gave about it. Now, a fact is something that what he was given is a spiritual thing. Now this lead, we use it on ships to make a ship stand still, ankles going down to the water, but it never hits the bottom. It's just in the water, and the ship can't move without you letting it back up again. So the spiritual part, with the lead not reaching the bottom of any ocean any nearer than 4,500 yards, is that Islam that is within you. You cannot drown it. You cannot drown it like the lead. If it's not tied to something, it will float, but yet it will hold the ship still. So it is with Islam within us. We can't get rid of it. Not if you've been in Islam any time to understand something about it. It's going to stay with you. You just can't leave it alone. Now, the Nation of Islam hasn't gone anywhere. It is still here. It is us that went somewhere. We turned the Nation of Islam down, and among those who had some knowledge of the Nation of Islam and was leaders of the Nation of Islam, which I'm not here to talk about the leaders. Understand me?
Yes, sir.
They misrepresent Islam. They did it. Not you and me or others. But by them being leaders, we thought that they was right because you still had Islam in you. Now, what you're waiting for now is the right distance in this water, like this lead is. Then you will come back to the top because you're floating now. If somebody just only tell you the truth now, you'll come back and take your place back where you belong. But you're floating, still there. It ain't going nowhere. It'll be there forever. That is, if you're taking the Islam that Messenger Elijah Muhammad taught, you can't get rid of it. Was that clear now? Thank you.
Well, my question was very similar to his, and I kind of understand what you're saying. But I do have a problem. You know, like I'm really confused about the Nation of Islam myself, in that knowing whether or not I'm doing the right thing, and afraid that I may not be doing the right thing. Because I didn't quite, don't quite understand the structure of the Nation of Islam. And the only thing that you can go by is what you're being told right now. But I want to know, if you have to be a part of a group, like right now, is there a group that is leading us in the right way? And if not, would we be safe not being in a group like that? And how can you maintain this relationship with God that God brought to us by not being in a group? Because a lot of times they'll tell you in the groups that I've been in, it's like if you're not here, then you're going to miss out on the truth, or if, because they're supposed to be the one that's in direct contact with the news. And for instance, if there were a message brought to the people, we wouldn't get it if you're not there among these groups. So, but I'm not sure, I haven't felt satisfied in none of the groups that I've been in. You know, like I always see too much contradictions, and I don't see the pure truth in what I would think would be in a holy group. You know, to me, if it's got to do with God, then it would be holy. You know, like it's truth there all the time. You would know it and feel it, and you feel comfortable in it.
Can you tell us how
You know, not comfortable today, and tomorrow you're not comfortable, you know, and you see all this wrongdoing with people and all that's going on. I'm wondering about that, because I don't really know how to be like that. I'm saying so much, so it may be confusing, but...
I want to know your question now.
What's the question?
What is the question?
Well, basically what I'm trying to find out is, where is the Nation of Islam? Like, is it just the Nation of Islam is in your mind, and as long as you keep your mind together, and that you are the Nation of Islam? You know, I'm confused about that. Is the Nation of Islam is over here with this group or that group, or and if it is, which group is the truth? You know, I'm just confused about all that kind of stuff.
Every black woman, black child, black man in the wilderness of North America is the Nation of Islam. Everyone, regardless to what. If you should see one out in the street and he's laying down in mud and he's a black original man and he cannot see, hear, or walk, he's the Nation of Islam. That's why I was saying it won't go anywhere. It has came to us, brought to us by Master Farad Muhammad in 1930. The reason that you are in the condition today and can't get in a confused mind, I would say, right? Confused mind with the Nation of Islam is because that there is so many leaders now. When Master Farad was here, he was the only leader. The Messenger Elijah Muhammad was the only leader until he passed away. And you become confused in the Nation of Islam for the things that had been spoken about the Nation of Islam, different sources of different organizations. There was not people at the coming of Master Farad, there was no organization here saying, I am Islam, among black people. I am Islam, I am this, and I am that. It didn't exist. It didn't exist beyond before 1930. Up until 1931, when the messenger begins to teach the people under the teaching of Master Farad. The people themselves messed up their own self, especially our own black people, not foreign people. Remember, you have seen Arabs and foreign Muslims come here in this country. They didn't tell you nothing.
No, they did. That's right. No, they didn't.
They didn't open their mouth to you. And you could see them dressed in their garbs. But who were the people? A lot of our people didn't even know it. I have seen them in Detroit, dressed in their garbs came from the East. But nobody say to the poor black man, Islam is your religion. Islam is the truth. Islam is what you should have. They didn't teach it. Well, now, if they didn't teach us, how did the poor black man get his Islam? He didn't get it by going to the East. He could go around, but he didn't get it because he didn't have enough knowledge to pick up on it that it belonged to him. And now, since we have got Islam, then there's a whole lot of groups of people saying, I am this, I am that in Islam. But we don't have it. Now, I know, Master Farad told us what would happen to the Nation of Islam. I hear it with my own ears. When he speaks it, he says, the Nation of Islam will go down. But it won't leave your head. You can't forget it. I mean that. The Nation of Islam had two falls. A lot of people might think that this fall that it had this time with Wallace was the first fall. No. The Nation of Islam had a fall before. In 1934, the Nation of Islam fell right down. Where I had been in the school as principal and the teacher in the University of Islam, I have had as high as 200 students in my class. I have that on record today. Now, in 1943, 44, I had not one. Listen plain now. I had not one. And on Wednesday night in 1943, I went to temple, and there was not enough people there. We was in the house. We had lost the temple. There was not enough people in that house as it is here. You know who I spoke to? The man that was the minister. He asked me to speak on the account I was once the principal in what office I had held in the temple. He asked me to speak. And the brother at the home, that the town, but she come back up. When it came back up, as you all know that he went to prison, right? That was the time he went to prison. Now, when it came back up was when he come out of prison. And his greatest teacher that he had with him was Minister Malcolm X after he come out of prison. So the messenger said to me, he says, when the devils turned me loose, brother, they told me, he says, you can go and teach your people now. Elijah, go and teach them. And he says, you can tell them what you want. So the messenger told me, he says, I had been in prison that length of time, 4 years. He says, brother, I'm going to make triple time now. And he did it.
That's right. Yes, he did.
That's why all of your temples come up. Number 1, number 2, number 2 Illinois, number 3 Wisconsin, number 4 Washington D.C. was not on number 4 was not until he came out of prison and started it on foot. After he had come out of prison, he got it on foot. But it was there before he went to prison, because Minister Lucius X, you remember him?
Yes.
He was the minister there, and he had been in prison too. Him and also many of them other brothers that was ministers that came from prison. They opened temple for the messenger. So today, we knew that Islam had a fall. The second fall, which is the worst of the first, far worse than the first. The first fall that we had, I would say, didn't mean nothing. But the second one we had, like a man taking an axe, cutting a tree down, and just leave the bark on it. That's the way this one is now. No nation of Islam, right? Only but in your head. And if you lose it from your head, that's all of it. Now, if we that have the nation of Islam with us, we can make triple time getting it back, because you got it, and there's more with it. Before, when you had it, there was none with you. Now there's some with you. You can go to plenty cities, and they have Muslims there that was followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And many of them people wants that teaching again.
Yes,
But they don't have the people to teach Elijah Muhammad's teaching again, peace be upon him. They don't have it. Why you say that? Why do you say that, Minister John Muhammad? Because I see it. Yet. I was in the beginning. Why?
When you said that our mother married another man and he became our
Government, the intent, the future. Step forward, please.
Now, which one of we are a government. We are a nation within a nation. So if you're a nation within a nation, something must be done. You can't stay in this nation always.
That's right.
And if you have to move away from this nation, why, you got to have a government of your own self. And what is the footnote? Not footnote, but what is the footing of a government is a school, right?
Yes, sir.
And that was the first thing Master Farad Muhammad set up, a school, so to teach us Islam, to teach us ourself, and to know self and be self in a school that would carry us wherever that we wanted to go with the knowledge of Islam. Now, don't get me wrong this way, saying that you don't have to have no knowledge but Islam. To be a ruler in a government, you got to know the other man's knowledge too.
That's right.
That clear enough?
Yes, sir. I have another question, Brother Minister. It's been rumored that we have other leaders that talk about Master Farad Muhammad's father and mother, and they call them by name, Alfonso and Baby G. And in our little conference we had on Tuesday or Wednesday, you was telling me that Master Farad Muhammad and the messenger never even called Master Farad Muhammad's mother and father's name, but just told us that his father was an original black man and his mother was a Caucasian woman. Could you clarify this now that we have it on video for future references, that what Master Farad Muhammad leave this information stating when he was given the history about how he came about, did he leave his father's name, his mother's name, and and etc. and whatnot?
His mother's name was Baby G, so I know it. But his father's name, I never heard him mention it. And I never heard the messenger say that his name was Alfonso. I have heard that many a time.
Could you tell us where that rumor began, or how many years?
Well, I have heard it in Detroit many times. I've heard that many times. I used to hear some of the ministers there say his father's name was Alfonso, and I went up to Muskegon, Michigan once, and they said his father's name was Alfonso. So I asked concerning it. The messenger never told me that his father's name was Alfonso, but I did hear I did hear Master Farad say his mother's name was Baby G. I heard that. That's right, but not Alfonso. Alfonso, Italian name, baby. Italian name. And Master Farad didn't talk much about his parents. Very little that he talked about them. We would ask him in teachers' meeting. Very little he spoke about them. Yes, his father was a black man and his mother was Caucasian. The messenger wrote it there in the black man, in a message to black man. He wrote it in there about his parents. He did. He went to the mountain and got his wife, a white woman, which was a Caucasian woman, one that had been left there. These people that where he went to get his wife, which is the mother of Master Farad, they was people that was left there in those mountains when Yaqub made the people the devils, and they went back into the Holy Land, and these was ones that was left. And so instead of them exiling them across the Arabian Desert into the hills of West Asia, which is Europe, these people was hidden, because a lot of our people came lacking to them, just like a lot of our people like white people today. And they'll take white people and hide them about in their house to keep you from getting a hold of them if you had to do it. And so that's the way that was did then. And they was in the hill. And so his father went there to get his wife, because that he knowed how that he want this next one to be, the next God. He said that he want him to be a man that looks like a white man, so that he could go among both sides of the people. He could come to you, because we don't turn white folks down, if they come in our house. So he wanted one that would go to the white people, and they'll think that he's of them, and he get all the news that he wanted to get from them and come back and let you know it. And with us, we was glad to see him when he comes in our house, because we thought that we was so highly appreciated when a white man walked in the door. If he had to come as a black man, he couldn't have went to the white folks. They wouldn't have let you. 1929, how many white folks' houses could you enter? 1929, just say you walking up to white folks' doors and going in, sitting down, talking with them and whatnot, going to their churches and in their society. I'm talking about 1929, not 1930. It was the same way, but I'm talking about in the time that you and I was in school together. I don't know if you was in school at that time or not, but I was. I was in school in no, I'm wrong. I wasn't in school in 1929. But I had been in school. I was in school in 1927. I left school on my birthday because of the teachers of what they did and what they said against black people. The teacher said once, he says that if I had my way with all of you niggers, I would put you on a ship and send you back to Africa. She says that in the class where white and black was at, in the city of Detroit on Maple Street. I was at that school, and you heard of Miller School in Detroit? I went to that school. I went to a Capron school in Detroit. I went to a lot of them, and I still didn't learn nothing in them. I have seen white boys, white girls in schools during that time. They would be passing another class, and I'm still in mine. They'll pass me later on. They look down and see me. You still in here? Here, you get out of here. Give me a pass, and I'll go to another higher grade. Wouldn't send me back to learn what was back here, send me up. Until, I passed on away from them. Didn't know nothing then. Some of our people today come from colleges and whatnot, and just as dumb as the one in second grade. You understand me, what I'm trying to put over to you? Now is another question about Master Farad. Yes.
It's related, and that is that I was interested in knowing what Master Farad Muhammad had to say in reference to our relationship with white people. Now I know that there is some talk about being separation, but the reason that I'm asking that is because I was at a lecture that Minister Farrakhan gave, and he was talking about the Iranians, like that they were Muslims, and these are white people in it too. These Iranians are white Muslims, they're white people that are Muslims. And he talked about them, and then he mentioned that one day he introduced his mother to the FOI, and they stood up and they applauded his mother, right? So, well, to the audience, and he asked the FOI the next day, he said, brother, why did you all applaud my mother? They said because it was an honor that she had brought such a great man into this world, you know. And he said that, and I asked him, I said, well, brother, if Master Farad Muhammad's mother walked in the door, what would you do? And you know, like that, it was a message in that you know, and so I was kind of interested in knowing, you know, because there is a saying about an expansion of the teaching, you know, like the teaching was such a thing at one time, and then you're getting a elaboration or, you know, an expansion, or now this is modern times, you know, and you know, that there are some things that apply that are a little different, or that maybe the Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't give us all the information, and that some of it is coming up now. So I was asking that in relation to Master Muhammad, that since his mother was a white woman, then he certainly must have said something about maybe whether or not there will come a time when we might would look at white people a little different than them just being devils, or a little different in terms of just being totally separated from them. Well, you know, like I'm trying to let me see. I'm trying to understand whether or not Master Muhammad meant for us to be totally separated from white people, and that they are definitely the devils, and that we should not be intermingling with them or experiencing with them at all, or that is there during this time, this is modern time, or changes will take place where we would, or should, or is there certain white people we should be experiencing with or something?
Master Farad Muhammad taught us in my hearings that you should not have anything to do with white people.
That's right. That's right.
He taught us that they are the real devil.
Yes, sir.
And he taught us concerning ourselves in so many languages or words, still speaking the English language. He taught us in so many ways until he said to us, he said, if I tell you to kill the devil, or if the time would come now for us to kill the devils, says, I wouldn't let you go out to try to kill one, because you would kill some of your own people. He says, the eyes of the black man and the white man have a different color. There's only one color of the eye, and that is black and blue. But you may not see the blue part. You might see around the eye on the outside here, this big circle around here, but it's a little pinpoint place in the eye. And it's either black or blue. And if you don't know it, you see a real light-skinned person, you would kill them for the devil. And they would not be the devil. Because he made it again in this point that if your blood is more powerful than his just by dropping a few drops in it, and it overcomes the white man's blood and becomes original, he says, then you would be destroying your own self. because you thought that this is a devil here. Now, in being with devils, I can't go all the way through this like I want to tell you. I'd have to, have a meeting with you. He said, not sit down and be. I would love for a whole lot of people to be there. You know what I mean? Like, well, I'll tell you that later on. The black man, Master Farad came to him. I think this is in your words too. Master Farad Muhammad come to us. He came to unite us first together. And by uniting us together, then we would understand and learn more about self and about the devils, because we can become as one. And that's what Islam came to us for, by Master Farad, to unite us into one nation of people like he had promised that he would do. And he says to us that Islam will unite us, and the messenger constantly said that in his writing. Islam would unite us. Now, the white people being relatives of some sort, or being with us, or we should have something to do with them. We shouldn't have nothing to do with them. Completely. Have nothing to do with them. Now, some might say, I'm trying to answer this to the way that you can understand it. You know what I mean. I don't mean that you should just say, "Oh, you the devil, I'm not going to have nothing to do with you," because the messenger told me sometime before he died, he says, "Brother," he said, "we don't have to call them devils even now." He said, "They know they're the devil." So he says, the teaching has come to us, and we can call them Caucasian or whatever that we want, because you got to work with him. You have to get your earnings from him now. So we can't just go and throw cold water on him now, and which is facts, because he can fire you from your job right away. And then where you going to get a job at? Your people don't have no place for you to work for 20 or 30 million people. We can't even hire 10 million of people of our kind. But all of our earnings come from this government. Now suppose, he showed me these points by saying, suppose a man on welfare, he can't get a job, but he goes to the welfare, and there is a white man waiting on him. Now he can say, "No, you called me a devil. No, you belong to the old Muslims over there." No, which a lot of them have did it, and that was, he was cut off. Then he had to go and make him a junk wagon, and go up and down the alleys, picking up the junk from the street to live. So he says, now Master Farad gave it to us this, he says, when you're talking to the devil, give him an apple. Put an apple in his mouth. You understand what I mean by the apple? Right. All right. Now, you got to play with him, you knows that he's the devil. So give him something to eat on, like you do a dog or something to keep him from biting you. Because you know who he is. You know there's a dog here. You ain't going out there to start beating on the dog. No, because that dog will bite you. Well, that's what he is, dog. And now, we have ourselves, I would say, in cramps. We can't do nothing. Because here's a group here, here's a group here, there's a group over there, there's a group there, and every one of these groups is fighting each other.
That's right. That's right. Yes, they are.
We can't do a thing. What must be done? Those that have the teaching of Messenger Elijah Muhammad must reunite themselves together and stand fast.
Yes, sir.
If you don't do that, brother and sister, you are lost.
Yes, sir.
You are lost if you don't do it. Because what good is you sitting at home?
Good question.
You got message to the black man, and you got how to eat to live, fall of America, and so on. Just say all of what he wrote, the messenger wrote, but you sitting at home. I'm a Muslim. We know you's a Muslim. But did you ever hear that great word that the messenger said that Master Farad Muhammad told him? Is, what is you doing for yourself today? Your brother from the east wants to hear from you at once. That's in one of the problems.
That's right.
I would say, look at me sitting here. I come a long ways from Detroit. This is my fourth trip coming to you. I don't say that I'm a messenger. Far from be it. I don't say I'm a captain. Far from be it. I'm not but one thing today that I'm carrying out, and that is that I'm a Muslim, and I have made promise to Messenger Elijah Muhammad and to Master Farad Muhammad that I will stay right on the pathway that they have given to me, and I will not divide up the nation of Islam like others have divided it up. I can show you right here in the Quran. You ain't supposed to divide your religion.
All right.
If you divide your religion, Islam, you just as bad as the Christians, the Buddhists, and the whatnot. You're just like them. What does it say concerning Islam in the Bible, Holy Quran? Behold, I have perfect for you this day your religion, Islam. He have it perfect. He have given it to you perfect. Islam as your religion. You want me to read it?
Yes, sir.
Maybe if I read it, it'll be more better for you. Somebody tell me where to find it in Muhammad translation? That's all right. I know where it's at. I know where it's at. I just wanted to see if anybody else knew besides me. Yeah, I know where it's at. I'll be right to it in a few seconds. I'm reading Roman numbers, that's what's taking me so slow. You know, I wanted to give it to you from the Quran. I do this one. I was intending to read you this one anyway. This part here. But anyway, I'll do it this way. I'll find it now quicker. I'm right at it, and I know it. Now this is the dividing of Islam. The 13th chapter of the 42nd verse in section 2, a judgment shall be given. So in Muhammad Ali's translation, I'm going to read this one, then I'll give you that other one. I have perfect for you your religion. This one is that the 13th verse says, he has made plain to you of the religion what he enjoined upon Noah, and that which he has revealed to you, and that which we enjoin upon Abraham and Moses and Jesus, that keeps to obedience, and be not divided therein. Hard to the unbelievers is that which you call them to. Allah chooses for himself whom he pleases, and guides to himself him who he turns to himself frequently. Do not divide your religion. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
I'm reading a Quran, not a Bible. Do not divide it. Don't divide your religion. Now, here,
I think it's Surah 5, John.
sir,
Surah 5. Yeah.
Surah 3.
For the perfection. In the Quran. Surah 5:3.
453,
5:3. Surah 5, the third ayah.
5 and 3. That is it. Forbidden to you is that which dies of itself. 5 and 3. Section 1. That's it. Forbidden to you is that which dies of itself, and blood and flesh of swine, and that on which any other name than that of Allah has been invoked, and the strangled animal, and that beaten to death, and that killed by a fall, and that killed by being smitten with the horn, and that which wild beast has eaten, except what you slaughter. And what is sufficient on stones set up for idols, and that you divide by the arrow, and that is transgressors. This day have those who disbelieve despaired of your religion. So fear them not and fear me. This day I have perfect for you your religion, and complete my favors on you, and chosen for you Islam as a religion. That's it. That's showing of the question. I almost lost the answer to the question that you asked by taking the two. That is showing to you that he give you a perfect religion. That answers that part of the question, I think, of that part of what I was saying. You know, a lot of people have asked us, if Islam was the religion of every human child, then why is it not the religion of the devil? A lot of people have asked that question. But the devil killed the man that came to them to bring them Islam. And they didn't want it, and they killed all of the prophets after him, except in Muhammad. He worded himself to death. Muhammad, he came to the people of his kind. He was an Arab in the deserts with the rest of the Arabs out there, and he got the word, the revelation, as it says, to him to go to his people. All right, well now if he goes to the Arabs, who's going to come to us? Because that was his people. Well, the Quran verifies the statement by saying that every nation has a warner to go to them that has not had one. But they had their warners. All of the prophets have tried to reform the devils, but he could not. So we have agreed, as the Master Farad says, we have agreed that instead of trying to reform him, they all must be murdered. Did I answer that part very well for you?
Yes, sir. I had another question. There was a statement that the Holy Elijah Muhammad said that after me comes God himself. I was interested in knowing who was he referring to when he said that.
He was referring to the God that would come after him. He was not referring to these people that you see getting up teaching, because Master Farad said that he won't come back to teach you anymore.
Master Muhammad said he would not come back and teach us.
He won't be back to teach us.
So
The messenger, he won't be back to teach us neither, but when the God does come, he's coming to destroy the wicked.
The Will it come out of us, from among us, or is someone that's gonna come from someplace else?
That I don't know. That I don't know. I don't know where that God will appear from. I was never told that. After him would come the God, and he's the one that would be destroyer. As in the Bible, Daniel says that, behold, the lion come up out of his thickets, and the destroyer of the Gentiles is on its way. Don't know who that man is. All we know is God coming.
But he's not here right now.
Who's that?
This God is not among us any place right now.
I can't say that.
But because there are certain people that say that they are that person. So how will we know that they're not?
Tell him to go destroy the devil. That's the trouble, sister, with us. Our people have went so far that they have called themselves God, Son of Man, Moses, Ezekiel, Jonah, some in Detroit saying that they are the Christ. I don't know about around here. But that's crazy. All of the names of Son of Man and the Christ and the Destroyer belongs to Master Farad. Belongs to God. Those people, see, that's what have made Islam go wild among our people, like wildfire. And they don't believe anymore. But they got it in their heads.
Brother Minister, I'm asking this question for the sister that has recording equipment here. She wants to know, how will we recognize him? How does that go again? How will we recognize him?
My question, before she asked about how you know that these people are not what they are, and you said, well, ask if to go destroy the devil. What popped in my mind immediately was when Jesus was asked to prove who he was. He didn't do it not because he was not who he was, but that he didn't, I believe, didn't feel that it was necessary that he prove it to that person that actually was the devil. So, in that, I'd like to know, how would we recognize God if we come in contact with him and we ask him something like that? That don't mean that he have to do it just because we ask to destroy the devil. So there may not be a way for us to find out that he's who he said he is. But is there any other way that we can recognize him besides asking him to destroy the devil? I can go kill me one myself.
Now let us go back to the Jesus, what you was talking about. What he said. Many will come in my name, but they won't be there. Won't be me. But they'll come in my name. Many of them. To recognize God when he comes, sister, you don't want to see him according to what that I learned from the messenger. When God comes, as I just said, he's coming to clean up the earth of its evilness. He's coming with war. He's coming with, as you has always heard, with the 10,000 of his saints. And those are warriors. They are not meaning people that holy people. Those are warriors people. Those are people come to destroy. There's another part in the Bible that says that, and they will leap in your windows like men of war. Before them will be a flame of fire, and behind them would be left a desolate wilderness. I don't want to see him. I saw the Master Farad, but I don't want to see it. If he's coming like that, I don't want to see him again like that. Not in this body. For God's sake, let me live. And that's what he's coming for the wicked, to destroy them. And who knows that they are righteous? Where does the person know that he's a righteous person? You can't find him. And he knows him. You don't find holy folks. Where is they? Who can say you're holy? Can you say you're holy? Just think about yourself, what has happened to you. Can you live holy in a land of devils?
No, sir.
There ain't no holy people around here. Can you say that a man is God and he was born right here with you and he said that he is God and he don't have power enough to even to go to the jailhouse and take one of our brothers out? That ain't no good. If I'm in trouble here, you can't come to my rescue and deliver me from it and deliver me into a heavenly place and you say you are God? You can't do that. It's not written. At least I haven't read it. I haven't seen it. The most thing it is about our people today, we don't get together and learn and bring these people to a front. It's more people that's not leaders than it is people that is leaders. We are the majority who is not leaders.
That's right.
Get these leaders and tell them, says, now listen, you and so have got to meet tomorrow. We're going to do like Elijah did Ahab. You got to prove your God before us. And then you will find out who is who. Ain't none of them going to come. Did not you know I have asked them? You read my book here, what I have wrote. I've asked them to come together and unite themselves together and prove this and prove that. No, they don't. Nobody even said good about me of them, and a lot of them speak bad about me and they think I don't know it. I got two big ears. I can hear just as well as they got a big tongue that they can talk. That's right. Did not you know that in the next few years now, the way that the Nation of Islam is going with these other people, you won't know Elijah's writing, you won't know nothing that he have had.
That's right.
It all will vanish away. Master Farad's name will die dead among the people. Elijah will not be known. Just let it just keep on slowly wiping them out, slowly. You can see it, you can read it, you can hear them saying it. Look how they're pulling away already from Elijah and from Master Farad. Pulling away from him real slow.
Yes, sir.
Building themselves up.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
That ain't no good. Who have to stop that? Me and you. That's true. Now if we got people that so afraid to speak out against it, then we don't need to be Muslim. Allah does not want cowards. He don't want rabbits among his people. He wants people that got enough guts and enough nerve to stand up to a man and tell him, say, you is not no son of man. You is not the Christ. You is not so and so and so. How is the Christ going to look when he come? Show me that you are Christ. You can't even tell what Christ did. Plenty of these leaders don't even know what Christ did. Don't even know the name of Christ. The name Christ means to crush, to tear down. And when he come, he will crush this nation of people, the devils. And if you're with this nation of people, you will be crushed with them. It's a sin and a shame that so many people have destroyed the rights and the souls of people who wants to be right.
Yes, sir.
It's a sin for such as that to go on. They compare themselves as being Allah, as being the God. No. Let me show you some gods. There was a man called himself Daddy Grace. He said he was the secretary for God for 2,000 years in heaven. Said he will never die. He died. Father Divine, he was a great man, right? He was a black god in Harlem, someplace up there. He had one floor for his white and one for his black. Father Divine died. Daddy Grace, they said Father Divine wasn't dead. Daddy Grace said, yes, he is dead. So, what did these two gods do? Nothing for you and me. They haven't saved not one soul. It's like the Bible said, they will put burdens upon you and will not move them, not with their little finger. They won't move, not one burden, but they'll add them upon you. That's a bad state we are in, because that we are followers of these people. I wouldn't follow one round the corner of the house here tell me that he's God. I mean the supreme one. We all are gods, but I'm talking about the supreme being. He's going to be so much over to you and you and you until he's going to say he's God. He is not God. Pump the questions to him. That's why I have you to ask me the question. Ask them questions. Right?
Yes, sir.
That's right. If you're not afraid to ask me a question, why would you be afraid to ask him one just because he said he is God? No, let him prove that he's God. Say, listen, buddy, we got men out here can't find a job. Tell that man where to go get him a job at.
There you go.
Let him prove himself.
It's a simple task.
Right.
Yes, sir.
God rose the dead. Said, my sister died this morning. Go there and rise her from the dead. Said, she didn't pay me my $5 she owed me.
Thank you very much.
They sit around here like that. Yes, sir.
I read something, message to the black man. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Pertaining to what the sister was saying, it's on page 14. It says, therefore we have the covenant of Allah God. He is referred to as the Son of Man because first he is the Son of a man and God for a special purpose, which is to return the lost back to their own and to punish and destroy the wicked for their destruction of the righteous, that the righteous may live in peace and do the will of the God of righteousness, free from trouble and interference. Second, he must be a man to deal with a man, and we cannot receive or respect other than man. Since his work is to destroy the wicked, he must remain hidden from the eyes of the world until the time is ripe.
All right.
The end. For the two, God and devil, cannot rule together. The Son of Man must wait until his time, after the works of the devil. So that's the answer to the question, is that all these people who call themselves God around here, none of them are God according to this book, because that person is not going to make himself known until after the destruction of the devil.
Right. What you read there, the Son of a Man. When I was telling you that Master Farad's father wanted his son to come to the West. He wanted to come to the lost people because we was lost. And when and that was the son. He is the Son of Man. Saying that all of those names belongs to him. Now we say, I come to you because you are blind, deaf, and dumb. I say, I'm the Son of Man. You ain't looking at me as being as the son of a man to my father. You ain't looking at me like that. You're taking me for some person out in space, being the spirit or something other, and here I am, the Son of Man has came. Right? That's true. That's what you're looking for. That's where your mind goes. Your mind going to, well, this is Jesus. He done come. He said he was the Son of Man. It's easy when we know it. That's good. That's a good answer there. That's the messenger's right.
The answers to a lot of these questions are in the message books that people are just reading. I have one other question that I tried to ask you when you were leaving. Not the last time you were here, but the time before that. I heard you say something and it puzzled me, and I didn't quite understand it. And I asked you about it, and you said, well, when I come back, we'll talk about that. I heard you say, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what I heard you say was, La ilaha illallah, Farad Muhammad Rasulullah, or something to that effect. Is that what I heard you say, or did you say something different?
I don't hardly go those ways, but you might have heard me saying something other concerning the blessing. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Yeah, you did say that.
Yes.
I think you said, La ilaha illallah, Farad Muhammad Rasulullah.
No, I don't remember. I don't remember that.
Pardon me?
Did you say while I was recording, brother?
I don't believe so.
Sorry.
Allahu Akbar.
I didn't hear you right.
Did I use the word Allahu Akbar? I don't hardly use that. You know why I don't use a lot of those words? Now this is a blessing that I use. When I asked the blessing, we asked Master Farad, could we use it? He said yes. That is Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Allah illallah, Farad Muhammad Rasulullah, Ameen. That's a blessing for the food. Now, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Allah illallah, Farad Muhammad. But I said Muhammad, which meant Muhammad. Farad Muhammad Rasulullah. Ameen. That's what I say every time I eat.
I think it was, we were getting ready to eat.
Was it?
When you said this, yes.
That sounds more like it.
If you can explain the meaning of it to me.
That is, I thanked everybody that had anything to do with this food, that one that went out to get it, that one that cooked it. I thank them, everybody that touched this food. I thank them for it, and I thank Allah for giving me the power to go get it. I thank everybody, even to myself. God, I even thank you for what you would have did for it if you had been in the working of it. That's the blessings that we ask. That is what my son called the emergency one. Now there are others, it's short why he said emergency one. It's short. There's others that we say the prayer in. The same prayer is in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. We say that before we eat. A lot of us say it. We used to say it a long time ago when we stand up. And there's other prayers in there that you can say before you eat. Yeah.
Did Master Prophet Muhammad teach the messengers how to pray?
Who?
Did Master Prophet Muhammad teach the messenger how to pray?
Yes.
And did you ever see the Master pray himself?
No, I never seen that. He never taught me how to pray. The messenger taught me. Sure. He taught you how to pray. When you get the Quran, you are taught how to pray.
He didn't say a prayer and then he just come to the rostrum and start speaking?
Who, Master Farad?
Yes, sir.
Never in my life have I heard him to say a prayer. The only time that I knowed him to say anything was the blessing that he blessed the food with. I have never seen him come to the rostrum and stand up and pray. Never. And I was there, brother, I was there every time the door was open and closed when he was there. Yes, sir. Especially at the temple. Yes, sir. I had to be there. If I didn't, I would have been put out. Who was he going to pray to? God told me. Even to Jesus. What prayer did he pray? You know what? John sent two of his disciples to him, and two of Jesus' disciples came to him and told him, says, teach us how to pray as John taught his disciples how to pray. And he says, when you pray, you say, Our Father who art in heaven. That's where that comes from. But they messed that up. The devils messed that up. Jesus ain't never prayed a prayer like that. John neither.
One of the reasons that I was curious about that is because, according to what I have read from the Messenger, when the Master first started teaching the people in Detroit, he didn't tell them who he was. And the Messenger discovered who he was and questioned him about his real identity, and he revealed that to the Messenger. But the other people didn't know who he was. He didn't come out and tell everybody, I'm God. But he was trying to teach them a religious teaching. And part of that being prayer. So I was just curious as to how he taught them about that, how to do it, the manner in which to do it. Now, I think some of the people that might have been kind of snickering when I asked the question might have been thinking, well, obviously if the man was God, he wouldn't be praying to himself. But when the people that he was teaching didn't know he was God, and he wants them to be praying to a God, and he's got to teach them to pray.
You know how he told them?
Come on.
To pray to the God. This is what he said. He said, get up off on your knees from praying to that spook. Stand up when you pray. That's the way he told us. But he didn't tell us no word to put in our mouth. Now I get you some more. My father asked him at our house. He was at our house having dinner, and my father was a preacher, as you have heard the messenger say a lot of time. But my father was the first man that met with Master Farad, and that brought us into the temple. A lot of people don't know that. So my father said to him, he says, brother, he says, when I pray, he says, I always get on my knees. He says, is that all right? He said, yeah, that's all right. He says, you can get on your knees if you want and stand up. Now, why he say that? Is because God is here now. When you was in the Christian world, you didn't know nothing else. But God is here now, so get up now off on your knees. That's what he would teach out in the temple. But he told my father, he said, it's all right to get on your knees. All right, it is. But don't look down to the earth and don't look up.
I didn't really want to get into this subject about the matter of prayer. I was just curious as to if the Master dealt with it at all. But since this is getting deep and deep, I want to read something to you from this book, Message to the Black Man. I can find it real quick.
While you're looking for it, we can say this, as I have put in one of the books that I write, in unity, that unity will prevail. It doesn't have to take a whole lot of people, even that's even recorded in the Quran. A big crowd of people does not win all the time. Just a few people can be the winner. But here is what we need to do, is to get together more often with the belief. And anyone that have more knowledge of what the messenger have taught can be your minister. Yes, sir.
In the Quran, where it states in that also Surah called Surah Sajda, and where it's made reference to make sajda, make prostration to your Lord. Would you explain that?
Make a prostration. That prostration is when you bow and your head touch the floor, or you can straighten yourself out on the floor. Prostration. So, that's even that is in the Quran when you're going through the whole thing in prayer. That was given to the Arabs anyway.
That do it now?
That was given to the Arabs anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the reason I ask also is like when you go on the Hajj, when you make Hajj, and then
Yes.
you go, because the ritual
Yes.
of making the walk and doing the prostration and everything. That was my reason for asking.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, that's where Muhammad gave the devils that ritual to become masons. It was Muhammad that gave them masonry.
Yes, sir. So, I was wondering, during the time of Yaqub and his working, would you know if there was a supreme being present on earth at that time?
A supreme being on earth at that time,
The
yeah.
God tribe.
Yes, he was called the King of Islam. That's the one that went into Yaqub. Yaqub was a god himself, and that's the one that went into the prison of Yaqub and gave him the greeting, said, Assalamu alaikum, Yaqub, and he looked around and said, Wa alaikum salam. Yaqub was under a false name. He said, oh, your name is Yaqub? He said, yes.
And I guess that would have been maybe Master Prophet Muhammad's grandfather, great-grandfather who done that. Okay. Because
It's not a bloodline thing.
Right. That's the reason why I was asking.
Well, I don't know about that. I can't say nothing about that because I was not taught that. Where that one come from. If so, then if it was like that, then the man that departed the moon, he too was in that line because he was a god in his day.
I found the page I want you to read.
Yeah.
Concerning that prayer. And he said that you should never prostrate yourself or have your face facing the ground.
Yes, that's why you put your hand down on your knee or whatnot and your head touches the floor.
There's two places in this book mentioned to the black man where the messenger refers to that. And there's one place in his book, the Supreme Wisdom, where he refers to that. I found one of the places here in this knowledge of prayer on page 152. I haven't found the other one yet where he mentions prostrated on a prayer rug or on the bare earth.
That's why you get your mark in your head. That's what that's it.
On page 152 it says here, since the earth of the prayer service of Islam, the religion of the entire submission to the will of Allah, he had not only trying to keep his internal parts clean, but the external parts too. He washes his face, his hands, and all the exposed parts of his body before going to prayer. Never before has he done such under the cross of Christianity, prostrating himself with his shoes off and his forehead kissing the rug or the bare earth. It is in praise and humble submission to the will of Allah, God. He says again in the above prayer that he is thankful to Allah. He thanks Allah for the knowledge of the worship, to know him to be the true God, to believe and to worship him alone, and not to set up a rival to him. That's page 152.
Yes, I know it.
This book.
Well, whatever that you ask me, what he say, I don't go against nothing he says.
I don't either. That's why I do it that way.
I don't go against that. I could read you some things that and tell you something else that I have heard concerning the same thing from Master Farad and from him. But if you tell me, I ain't gonna tell you that's something against it, that this or that is wrong. I ain't gonna say that because I'm not the messenger. I'm just a teacher.
So are we supposed to bow or are we supposed to stand?
Well, the best that I heard Master Farad say in the prayer, he said, get up off your knees and stand up. So now I can't say more. I can't tell you like what you have there because we have a book from the messenger, a little small book about that size if you have seen it. And it's a prayer book. And it gives you all of the rituals that you go through with there. On the Friday is prayer day. And I have that at my school now in Detroit at 1 o'clock. We takes the prayer, but we don't go all the way through it. It only take about 10 or 15 minutes and they go all the way through it. Not all the way through that. That is what I say would be a private prayer that you make for yourself and you goes all through the service. On Friday's prayer, you don't go through all the way through the service. It'll take you too long. Won't be too long, but what I mean to say, they don't usually do it. Well, what else? He's looking for something else.
Well, you know, excuse me, or you still say something? No, I was just about to say that the messenger taught me to ask questions.
Right. I'm gonna ask you one too. Right. That's right.
We gotta keep digging until we get absolute.
That's why I say we shouldn't be here.
Is that most of us are not clear all the time what must be done because we haven't studied this. See, the messenger left us a wealth of information and instructions and guidance, but we don't follow it. Half of us don't even know what these books contain because we don't study. We'll wait, and then we'll wait till a brother like you come to town, which is however often you want to come to town, to ask you a question and let you give us answers to questions that we could find ourselves, and we would just read instead of messenger's teachings.
Well, that's true.
Anything we're not clear on, we got our sources right here to go to.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why we're not in unity, because we don't study this. And those of us who do study it, we don't want to accept it purely and simply as it is. We want to try to change it and alter it and make it suit whatever low-minded purpose we have. But we got to take this, pure and simple as it is, and follow it to the letter. That's our key to success. I want to find something about that congregational prayer that you were talking about. According to this book here, what is written in this book implies that when we have those prayers, we should go through the whole ritual. And that we shouldn't just confine that type of prayer just to our private.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
And that when we have the Jumu'ah prayers.
I know it.
On Fridays once a week.
Jumu'ah prayer doesn't have that you should go through with them. I'm saying that what he says there about the Jumu'ah prayer, you don't have to go through them. Those are most of our private prayers when you got to go through everything.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to tell you something about the same book you asked me a question out of. The messenger did not write all that he wanted to tell you concerning of these in that book.
I believe that.
So if therefore is this, you can take that book and tear it apart, which we are doing now. And I have given out 1 or 2 books. You have one, don't you, brother? Dr. Sabai?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Written right from there, question and answers, which will make it more easier for you to understand that book. It's written from that book. The answer is there, and the question comes from the book, and the answer comes from the book. And we have nothing to do with asking the question. We have nothing to do with answering the question. Did you read where he said that let's take Mother's Plain, what everybody have read and whatnot. He said, I cannot tell you all of this because it would take a book for me to even to tell it all to you concerning Mother's Plain.
That's
So now concerning the others there that he have written, like Yaqub's history that he has in there, he didn't give you all of Yaqub's history right in there. Plenty of he didn't give it to you. And then he didn't tell you in there that Muhammad give these directly to the Arabs, and Muhammad did not give you prayer. We taking the prayer. You know what he told me when I asked him about prayers, brother? He told me, he says, those prayers that we are saying is not our prayers. Those were other men's prayers. Like some says a prayer about Abraham, what Abraham's prayer that he made. That wasn't our prayer, that was Abraham's prayer. You got to pray yourself. You can't take what I pray and say, Allah, answer my prayer, whatnot, and I'm saying that you have got to do for yourself. I say the first prayer in the Quran, I dismiss with the same prayer in the Quran. The first one is my last one, and the first prayer in the Quran is my first prayer. Now when I want something other, I don't just drop it and say, well, I done said my prayer. I ain't said nothing but said your prayer. Hey, no, I don't drop that. I goes ahead on. Then I begin to ask, just like I'm talking to you, give me this, bless me with this, or bless me with that, because the prayer in there was given to these other people. Now I got to ask for what I want.
I didn't mean to imply that was the only way to pray. Because when you get into prayer, technically there's two types. There's salat and there's dua. Salat is said in a ritualistic way, and dua can be said anytime, under any circumstances.
Yes.
So I'm not trying to contradict what you just said just now.
I see what you're going to. I believe I do. Go on.
To get back to the original point about the congregational prayer. Yes. There's prayer for those social relations between the different sections of the Muslim community. And I think that's one of the problems with us, that we don't come together in our spiritual. If you see it, you probably see it, you like go quicker.
That is 100% true.
And on 138 it says here, the prayer promotes social relations between the different sections of the Muslim community. So we got all these little groups scattered about. Now, what if they came together, just prayed together once a week? I think that would promote unity. As the message says, so
it would help a whole lot if you if you get them all together and all say one prayer.
Now, if they all claim they believe in the teachings of this book, they should come together, because on page 138 it tells them prayer promotes social relations between the different sections of the Muslim community. But
that's how come that's one of the causes that I come from Detroit here. See, would you come together? That is my duty. That is why I am in this city this day. That is why I came the first day. See, would you come together? I have to perform my duty. I have to perform what I had made promise of. I have to do that. If I don't keep up my words of what that I made promise of, then my word is not bond. If we all comes together, you're right.
I think we have about
I have another question about what is called Ramadan and the rest of the Muslim world, and during the time of Honorable Elijah Muhammad was in December. Would you explain this? Because I'm confused on it myself.
On Ramadan?
Yes.
What about
because you have the other Muslim world where you celebrate, so to say, the 9th month Ramadan, and which is different than the time of December.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, he asked Master Farad Muhammad for the month of December, and Master Farad told him, yes, you can have it. You can have Ramadan any month.
That's right.
You don't just have to go for the changing of the moon like they do. That was for those people. Do you know, I see in Detroit, brothers and sisters taking Ramadan in the hot summer month, the end and then the beginning, And brother, and they would be wanting water so bad, but they can't drink the water.
That's a birth.
That's right. And now, that's a sin for you to want something for the upkeep of your life, and you can't get it. God don't put them kind of punishes on people. If you want your Ramadan in December, you can have it. If you want it in November, you can have it. Whatever month is better for you. You don't have to go with the rest of them.
That's right.
That's why the messenger put ours in December, so that we wouldn't be buying whiskey. We wouldn't be, because sometimes people that drink a lot, they don't drink water. Say, I didn't drink no water, and he just got through with a keg of beer. Excuse me from jumping off like that. But you can have Ramadan anytime. Sure. You ain't keeping up with the correct days of the prayer, with the correctness of times of prayer in the day. Excuse me. The first prayer was given was 32 times a day instead of 5. Now, what time would you have to work? So if you're going to pray 32 times, you're going to go through all of that riffle? Now, I can pray 32 times easy a day. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I can say that 100 times a day. That's right. That's what the Holy Quran opened with, is prayer, ain't it? That's right. Yes, sir.
So, in the Bible, it says, there's reference of 2 gods.
2 gods?
I'm not sure which chapter it is, but it has reference of 2 gods, one coming from Mount Paran and one coming from Teman.
Yes.
And it says that, to make it shorter, that people would try to destroy, one was referred to as the Holy One, and the other one was referred to as God. And it said also that if it wasn't for, there were people trying to kill the Holy One if it wasn't for God to protect him. I would like to know what would your interpretation?
The message.
The Holy One and the God. And the God protecting the Holy One after people trying to hurt, destroy the
that was the Holy One. The Holy One was the God. It says God came from Teman, the Holy One from Mount Paran.
Right.
That Holy One was the one. That's the God.
That's the God.
That's the God. Everything bowed when he came, didn't it?
The question is though, how? I know that's the God, but why would that the other God referred to have to protect the Supreme Being? You understand what I'm saying?
Have to protect the Supreme Being.
Yeah, I wish it was the Bible here.
Where about is that at? That the one God had to protect the Supreme Being, protect the other. Let me.
It's really confusing. It's something that
you would have to read that one again to me.
I've been questioning for a long time because it refers to the Holy One as a Supreme Being, but the God.
Well, God is on the position that the man holds.
Yeah, it's a position. It seems like he'd be lower than the Holy One, right? Because we're talking about Allah, right? But it says that there would be people trying to persecute and kill the Holy One if it was not from God to protect him. I wish I had thought about it.
I can't get to you. I can't get to you clear enough.
We're gonna get to that, brother. It's God's spirit on there.
In the meanwhile, let me ask a question, Brother Minister. I want to know about the history of the 76 trillion years that we go back, and why haven't
You're asking a long question, Billy. Don't ask them so long.
well, I heard a tape where the messenger said that he begets not, neither was he begotten. He's self-created. And does that self-creation go back to the 78 trillion years, or?
Farther back than that, brother. We don't know when he come about.
Okay.
He says that
More than one God.
Oh, there are plenty gods. Some around here now, right?
That's right.
I have it.
You got it there, say.
It says, Habakkuk. According to the dictionary of the Bible, Teman, a son of Esau by Ada, Genesis 36:11, 1542. And in 1 Chronicles 1:36, now if Habakkuk saw God coming from the sons of Esau, then God must be a man, not a spook. If Habakkuk's prophecy refers to some country, town, or city, if there be any truth at all in this prophecy, then we can say that this prophet saw God as a material being belonging to the human family of the earth and not of the spirit. In the same chapter, verse, Habakkuk saw the Holy One from Mount Paran. Okay? This is also earthly, somewhere in Arabia. Here the Bible makes a difference between God and another person who is called the Holy One. Right? Which one should we take for our God? For one is called God, while another one is called Holy One, the Holy One. His glory covered the earth, the heavens and the earth, and was full of praise. It has been a long time since the earth was full of praise for a Holy One. Even to this hour, the people do not care for holy people and will persecute and kill the Holy One if God does not intervene. That's what I'm talking about.
If God didn't intervene.
If God didn't
Well, if the Supreme One over them didn't intervene, well, they would. But he says that God, that the Holy One was the Supreme Being. That's the one that everything bowed to. They didn't bow to that other one. They said, God came from Teman, the Holy One from Mount Paran. The one from Teman, which was a man, he says, right?
Yes, sir.
That one, the hills did not bow to him. But when this one, that the Holy One came about, everything bowed to that one.
That's right.
That was the Supreme One.
Supreme Being.
Right.
So, but why would he need God's intervention?
Well, you see, he's asked you the question because the devils wrote that.
All right.
He waking you up to the God. He told you which one
It
was
was a
the devil.
statement. That's what I thought.
And wouldn't that be,
It was a statement, sir. I'm sorry.
would not the protection also be when God was kept a secret from mankind? That's protecting of God, the knowledge of God. Because we went so many trillions of years without even knowing that God was a man.
That's right.
That's protection of God.
So the intervention could be,
This
It don't
what
have to be like nobody standing in front of him with a gun or something. It could be just the keeping the knowledge of God among certain people.
that's it. Keeping the knowledge away. This knowledge that we got now was not supposed to be told, not until in this time. It was kept a secret for 6,000 years, and after the 6,000 years, then it can be told.
In fact, when Master Farad Muhammad, he did not even teach that he was God until he left. I mean, he told the messenger that he was God. He was protecting himself. But it wasn't one that we could do him no harm.
Nobody could bother him because he told the devils themselves that they couldn't do that to him. He said, you have killed your last. And they had never killed nobody else belonging to in the nation of Islam like him or the messenger. That's right. You're right. The secret. This is a secret. The messenger wrote it. It might be in that book or in something else that I might have, that where he wrote it at, that this secret is not supposed to be told. You might have read it until after the 6,000 years. Yeah. Yes.
I just want to follow the question up a little bit further.
Go ahead.
Okay. Since the Holy One is the Supreme Being, Allah, and the keeping of his whereabouts or his name from being known by God would be a protection for him, you're saying?
right? But since he is the Holy One, Master Prophet Muhammad, there would be no one to be able to destroy him anyway.
Didn't he use the name God?
Excuse me, sir?
Didn't he use the name God?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, anybody can be a God. I'm a God. You is a God. Anybody can be a God.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I can't protect this Holy One because he is supreme.
That was the question.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the way I want that. No, that's play better, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't protect him, the Holy One, because everything bows to that Holy One.
Why? See, that's my question.
Yeah.
Why would he need protection? Any type of protection?
He don't need none. He didn't need none.
He doesn't need that.
That's right.
That's why that was my question.
All right.
Two guys spoke about it.
Now, hear what my brother told me at his house in Chicago when he was going out. I said, I go with you. My mother said, brother, she said, why don't you go out with your brother? He's going by himself. I said, well, I was going with him anyway. Well, I hadn't thought about going with him, I'm just going. I know how my mother would talk, and so I'm keeping down her from jumping down my throat. So when he got his coat, he says, well, I'll be right back, brother. I said, I'll go with you. Don't you want me to go with you? He said, oh, I don't care. Come on. I says, now this way I fell down at. I said, I just didn't want to see you by yourself. He turned around and looked at me. He said, brother, I'm never by myself. Didn't eat my hip. He wrote it and said to plenty of them, said, fruit coming out meeting him on Savior's Day. Said, they don't have to come meet me. I'm not by myself.
The reason why I said that because I remember in the tapes, the messenger also referred to Allah or God coming with equal power. The coming of Allah, God, or one with equal power. You see, and I was trying to relate it to that because there are two gods spoken of there. And it seems like the messenger at that time referred to two gods.
Now, I'll correct you some more on the gods. There is two gods.
Same man.
There's two gods, do you know?
Two gods.
Yeah, it's two. It's two now.
Yes, sir. But the devil is God.
That's right.
The righteous God.
That's right. The devil is the God of his world, and Allah is the God of his world. So the righteous God is going to destroy the evil God. Like it is said there in one part of the Psalm, says that he sits among the gods and judges among the gods. Did you read that? I forget just what chapter. I got it in my little what's-your-name book. Sir?
I do. I just wanted to know why the Holy One would need protection. That was really basically the reason why I asked you all those questions.
I don't care. I don't care, brother. You can ask me all night if you know what I mean. It don't make no difference to me sitting all night, because when I get started at it, it don't make no difference. But I didn't want to hold everybody else, You understand me, sister? You tired?
There's another question.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How you doing? Good, good. I'm glad to see you tonight.
This was just in reference to, they were saying that true God will be present in the last days. And this is just a question to pose, to our brothers and sisters. Could not that be Allah and His Messenger? For these two are also one. And this is, it's like speaking about two individuals, but still we understand that these two, are the same, as it says. And I also bear witness to what you're saying. It's in Psalms 82 when it says God sits in the congregation of the mighty, judging amongst the gods. For it says that, we are all gods and children of the Most High.
Yeah.
And alhamdulillah. But that was just something to pose to our brothers and sisters when it speaks about the true God, because we know that the messenger, as we, given that title, was also a God.
No, brother. Messenger was not a God as the supreme being.
I said, but if he was not a God, then he could not teach us that we are God, because it did not say that the Holy One was the supreme being.
No, it doesn't say it.
The supreme being does not need protection.
Because you're reading a book that ain't gonna say it. Now,
We have to go.
do you? Okay then.
It was a pleasure to see you again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm glad to see you too. Thank you. Come back again.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Wherever that we should meet again. Wa alaikum salam, brother.
Good to meet you, sir.
Good to meet you, sir. Thank you. I wanted to give you something other that I wanted to show you. That's all right, though. I wanted to show you something other that I have here. Of course, the donation is $1 for them. I can't give them away. That's
How much are you saying?
$1. I do that because the cost of what it costs for it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I have other books here too.
You gotta go through. See, Brother Muhammad.
That's why I walk.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to see you, brother. Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am. Oh.
You know, as they were talking about God protecting themselves, in the Bible it mentions how Jesus would have the ability to read minds, and he could perceive when a crowd was going to do him harm, and he wouldn't go amongst those people. And you know, until whereas we truly understand Jesus and his real role, but as he was taught to be God in the Christian world, then why would, you know, even he avoid crowds that could do him harm? Jesus himself knew that somebody threw a right hook at him, that they could like. Right. And so he didn't go amongst that when he felt that in the crowd. But we make things spooky sometimes. We have, a lot of times we be judging. It's not, that was the Bible was translated by King James, or whoever was reading from, and the book has been tampered with. So a lot of times you're trying to explain something that the devil, trying to straighten up a mess that the devil's already messed up.
It's hard.
Right, it's very hard.
It's hard. You have to hear it from the messenger or from, well, I won't say from one that did hear it because I don't believe that too much no way. So you have to know it.
Right.
You have to know it. If you don't know it, well, that's just messed up again. Now that's a lot there. That's a good one there. The confusion. All of this don't be. Shoot. Thank you. I couldn't bring as many as what I wanted to bring.
Did you bring Ezekiel's will?
I might have some. I might have some. The thing that we have to do, I'll tell you exactly, and that is get together every week in some place so that you can learn about it. Teach them. You've been in the nation a long time. You know there's a lot of them. Teach them. I'll come back whenever I can to help you with.
You know, the biggest problem is that we tried to start study groups several times, and the biggest problem with the believers is that, one, they come with the idea that nobody can teach them, and two, that the regimen of going through discipline, study again, we hate to study.
Well, I tell you what, according to the word of Allah and according to the Holy Quran, it says where there's two in my name, I am the third person. Don't make any difference. If the rest don't, just steady. Just keep on trucking. Keep on trucking. You be the winner.
We have hopes to very near future, at least getting the message back on the radio. We're gonna try to get the teachers back on the radio, and hope to open up a temple some way today.
You see, a lot that he wrote in the book, he could not tell like he wanted to tell because the book would be too big. So he couldn't do it. He told me when he was talking just above a whisper, he said, brother, fulfill your promise. So go carry the word. What I have taught you, you go and tell it. Many things I tell people, they say I'm lying because it's not written in the book. But I heard it, I was taught it from the beginning. If anybody would say that Allah didn't teach us how to pray, you know, if I tell that to a lot of people, they say, oh yes he did, he taught Elijah. Now there's something else about Elijah that I heard was mentioned here. If I tell it, it might, you know, kind of knock you cold. He didn't know Allah until Allah left.
Right.
He didn't know him when he first saw him. How could a dumb man know God time he sees him?
Right.
Can't do it.
Because first thing we'd be looking for is some spooky thing that the devil saw.
Spookish. That's right.
See, we think God should be able to say, ball of fire.
They didn't know Jesus
Right.
not until he had resurrected from the dead.
Right.
When they was coming back and he walked among them and they said, didn't our hearts burn while he was with us at the breaking of the bread? And there appeared Jesus there with them. When he spoke to them, says, how foolish it is to believe all the prophet had told you. All right, there he is right there. They didn't know him. And they began to talk along the wayside, and then they knowed him after he was gone. You have one of these? That's a good one. See, a lot of people go in the name of X, saying that they are X. That time has run out.
Yes, sir.
What you gonna do? Who you gonna write letter to now to get a name? Who? You don't know Master Farad's address. You don't know Elijah Muhammad's address. He ain't on Woodlawn anymore. Where is he? He is dead. Don't let nobody fool you about the teaching of Islam. That's what I said. It's in the people's head, but it just won't come out right. This one want to tell you that. That one want to tell you this. Oh, you don't know what you talking about. You see, he told me such and such a thing. This one over here saying, well, he told me this or that. The messenger told me not. He says, brother, and now this comes true, just as true as anything. He said, brother, when I pass away, when I'm dead, he said, they ain't gonna want to see me dead. I said, I guess not. I don't want to see you dead. He said, no, but I got to die just like all of the rest of them died. He said, Abraham ain't here, Moses is not here, Muhammad is not here, Jesus is not here. I got to die the same way, brothers. So when it was called to me that my brother was dead, it didn't surprise me. I know he had to die because I looked for him to been dead long before he did die, but the condition that man was in. Yeah. And saying he's someplace else? No. If I die with somebody say I'm on Mother's plane, who's gonna tell it? Y'all gonna tell it? No. All of that is ignorant to a wise man. Wise people shouldn't speak like that. You want one? I give you one. You have it? Well, I think I got one here I can give you. Where he at? I give you that one. That's a Journal of Truth, number 2. Because I don't have number 1, so I give you that one. Did you have that one?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, I give you that one, sister. Nope, I don't have it. That's the only one I have.
Oh, did he come back?
I'm going to send you some of these. This one here is not a book. That ain't going to be a book. That's going to be a newspaper. So I was making on them these. That's going to be a newspaper. See what I said? Muhammad speaks again. That's going to be a newspaper.
So you're going to change the format from the other one?
No, I'm still going to keep all of the rest of it.
It's going to be different than this?
Yeah. Open that. I'll open this one up and show you. You want me to open it up and show you?
Yeah, I saw that one.
But that's the same as this. Okay. Oh yeah, this one ain't. That's the same. That's the same as this. This is a good one. Now, I didn't do no writing in this one. I didn't do no writing in this one. I put in there what I did long in 7 to 8. I put in there on the back side of this here, on the back other side of it. Now, the next one I'll be writing in that one because I want it to be a book. I mean, a paper that can go all over the country. That's what I want this one for. That's what I want yours in there too. Yeah. Just as soon as I get it.
I'll be waiting.
All right.
I'll be waiting.
All right.
Wish you had brought some then.
Today, I tell you the truth, I was by myself.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like carrying all those heavy things in my briefcase too. So,
I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting.
Well, you will most of a surety.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And my word is bond for it. Yes, sir. Thank you, man. So, these were... Yes. Yes. Okay, we'll stand and be dismissed then. Yes, sir. Good to see you. Good to see you too. You'll dismiss?
Right, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, all right. Yes, sir. Wait a minute, put this on.
Take a position of prayer and follow me in silence. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, all praise due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment, in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, and Thee alone do we beseech for Thine aid. O Allah, guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom Thou hast bestowed Thy favors, not of those upon whom Thy wrath is brought down, nor of those that go astray after they have heard Thy teachings. O Allah, I seek Thy refuge from anxiety and grief, and I seek Thy refuge from lack of strength and laziness, and I seek Thy refuge from cowardice and neglectness, and I seek Thy refuge from being overpowered by debt and the oppression of men. O Allah, suffice Thou me with what is lawful, to keep me away from what is prohibited, and with Thine grace make me free from want of what is besides Thee. Ameen.
Yes, sir.